Story time. This is a story, true story that I wrote about the past. It is a story called Stan. Stan. So back when I got my first job as a surgical tech outside of the military, I was 26 or so. I was scared. I didn't know how to talk to people. I was shy. I would do my surgery, get lunch, eat alone, do more surgery, clock out, and go home. At home, I had a lovely wife and 2 kids. At home, I was comfortable, but I just did not fit in at all at work. I wanted to desperately, but I did not. Until one day, a new employee, Stan, showed up. Stan was a great surgical tech. Hard to admit, but Stan was a little bit better than me. I'll admit, I was a little bit jealous. That is until, out of all the people working there, he picked me to befriend. Like me, he had been trained in the military, and like me, he liked to run and lift weights. But unlike me, he could talk to people. He could have an entire OR room laughing at one of his sarcastic jokes. Stan also loved coffee, just like me. So Stan and I would take coffee breaks at work together. He would talk about running. He would talk about weightlifting. I would talk about my family. One day, while having coffee, I asked, "How do you do it?" He said, "Do what?" I replied, "I saw you talking to everyone earlier, making jokes and getting to know all the doctors." He replied, "I used to be just like you, not talking, staying to myself. That was until I got tired of being overlooked, so I made a decision to help myself and build my self-confidence. No one is going to help me but me." I replied, "So that's all it took, just one decision?" He replied, "Yes. And that's exactly what you need to do for yourself." So I took Stan's advice and helped myself, worked on my self-confidence. Slowly, I noticed people started talking to me more. I had become noticed. I was making more friends. It really didn't take long at all once I started to think more of myself and my wants. Eventually, more coworkers decided to join in on our coffee breaks. Stan was loving it, so was I. Stan was doing most of talking and joking, but I didn't mind. I would egg him on and laugh at his sarcastic jokes. Things seemed great. Then Stan changed the conversation. Stan began talking about pretty female coworkers. I tried to change the conversation, but he said, "Dude, I know you're married and you have a good wife, but there's nothing wrong with a little flirting." I said, "I don't know, I guess a little bit of flirting could only help my self-confidence." So with the help and advice from Stan, my self-confidence and my ego went through the roof. My relationship with work and Stan was going great, but I noticed my family life was not going so great. Then I got a job at the VA hospital as an OR tech. New job, new fresh start. Maybe my family life would get better. So at the new job, I was back to not knowing anyone, but the people were friendly and the work was a bit slower. I would miss Stan, but let's face it, Stan was a big problem. So a few months go by and things were going okay. I was learning new surgeries, trying to stay busy, but the VA doesn't stay busy long. We would have slow seasons. It was during a slow season I started to get bored. Sometimes I would miss the fast pace of my last job. I started to reminisce of my times at the other job. That is when Stan showed up again. He had transferred from the other hospital to the VA hospital. At first, I was shocked to see him, but then I was thrilled to have someone to share my downtime with at the VA. It didn't take long. We were back at it as best buds, drinking coffee, sharing running stories. We were back to our old ways. We would make inappropriate military jokes. I figured it was okay because we were now working for the VA. We would flirt with women and high-five each other afterwards. We even started hanging out after work. We did some ultra runs together. It was at one of those ultra runs I tried to introduce him to my friends and family, thinking maybe they would like him as much as I did. I don't think they liked him very much. I didn't understand why anyone wouldn't like Stan. So anyway, it was at one of those ultra runs that Stan and I were pacing my brother. We got done pacing and decided to have a cup of coffee together. It was early morning. We had been running all night, so we were talking to some other runners. I sipped my coffee. That's when everything went dark. 1 second, I was sipping my coffee. The next second, I opened my eyes and I was in the ER looking at my wife. My wife said, "You're okay, you're okay." As I continued to wake up, I was informed that I had had a seizure. So they took me in for more tests. A lot of my friends and family were there, but I could not see Stan anywhere. The doctor came in with the MRI results. The doctor said that I had a small tumor on my brain. Everyone looked worried. Strangely, I was not worried. Maybe I had got what I deserved. I had a strange peace about me in that moment. So when I got back to work a week later, everyone was super nice. Everyone was worried about me. They wouldn't let me do anything too hard. The only person that I didn't see was Stan. Where was Stan? Had he gone on vacation? Maybe so. So a few weeks go by, still no Stan. In the meantime, I had been praying more and asking the Lord for his mercy and to forgive me for the ways I had been acting. After the seizures, I had a few weeks of headaches and brain fog. After a few weeks, the brain fog lifted. I became more clear-headed, and through prayer and supplication, I came to the realization that Stan wasn't coming back to work. Stan wasn't coming back into my life. I didn't want Stan into my life. I didn't believe his lies anymore. See, if you haven't figured it out yet, Stan is me. I am Stan. When Stan lied to me, I lied to myself. I believed my own lies. You maybe can call Stan my alter ego. Either way, Stan is gone. And I pray every day to keep it that way. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come."